Good afternoon. It is Sunday. It snowed this morning where I live. Let's look at some October winning lists for Greenskinz armies. But of course, first, thanks to all my patrons. Thanks to Baron of Dice for supporting the channel. Get 5% off your order with code MDG at checkout. And thanks to Iberian for the channel art. Fantastic stuff. Okay, so, to be honest, there wasn't really a lot of stuff that I could find for winning lists for our, like, Kruleboyz, Ironjaws, and Greenskinz. It looks like I was still sort of expecting a huge troll meta, but that's not what I'm finding. And of course, I am looking for tournaments that did take place in the month of October that did have at least 30 players, that were not conducted online, that were singles and not teams. And I only found 2 tournaments. The Miscast Misfits GT, this took place in October 5th in Australia. And then the Sydney Grand Tournament, which also took place on October 5th, also in Australia. So, and then from these, I didn't really find all that much, you know. Tzeentch, Korn, Seraphon, Stormcast. And then it wasn't until we get to about 12th place where Joshua Beck from Wild Dog Wargaming went 2 and 3 with a Kruleboyz list. So I mean, we're not really seeing all that much for our boys here. So this is a 2 and 3 Kruleboyz list, and this is one of the better placings that we saw, right? Morbid Conjurations, Lure of the Swamp, 3-drop with Lightfinger, Snatchaboss on Sludge Raker with 2 times Reinforced Gut Rippas, and then a Swamp Call Shaman with Potgrot with the Swamp Staff, with 2 reinforced units of Boltboyz, and then a Killaboss on Corpse Ripper Vulture with Slippery Scumbag and a Monster Killer's unit. So this list has 30 points left over, and I'm sure, and it's very standard. The only difference between my list and this list is that this list is running a 2nd reinforced unit of Boltboyz, while I instead, in its place, run 2 units of Monster Killers. I prefer the 2 extra units of Monster Killers. In this list, there's not I guess you have your 2 units of Boltboyz that you can teleport around with or sneak around, right? But besides that, there isn't all that much going on. There's no infantry stuff, but, you know, pretty standard, pretty typical list, you know, doing well. So that's nice. And then at our Sydney Grand Tournament, we had, placings is what I want. Nighthaunt first, Lumineth Realm Lord, Tzeentch placing top 3, and then we don't see our first Kruleboyz list or any Greenskinz lists until we hit 10th place with a 4-1 Kruleboyz player. Now this list I was a little bit confused by, because again, this is a player who went 4-1 and you know, obviously did well. So it's 2 drops with Lightfinger for Kruleboyz, Forbidden Power manifestations, Kragnos, Reinforced Boltboyz, Break a Boss with the Swamp Staff, and Slippery Scumbag, Reinforced Boltboyz. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 30 Boltboyz. And this guy went 4-1. And Kragnos. So it's like, what? Charge in Kragnos, Boltboyz, or screens? Please let me know in the comments if you've tried a list like this where you have Kragnos and a bunch of Boltboyz spam. I'm curious as to how this plays and what the overall strategy is. I have played MSU Boltboy army or lists before to varying... Like, I sort of liked it for a point. I thought for a little while that they were pretty cool and that it had an interesting strategy. I didn't play it with Kragnos, but I mean, if you're going to do MSU Boltboyz, I guess, I'd probably still go with something like a Vulture Boss, and this was before Kragnos got his points changed, because he's still 680 here, so you could fit even more Boltboyz into a list. I'm also curious as to why these Boltboyz are, like, there's 4 3-man Boltboyz and 3 6-man Boltboyz, so I'm wondering what the rationale is there. So if you know Terrence Voyer, please have him hit me up. I'm very curious to know. So that brings me to another interesting question that I've been thinking about, you know, our Greenskinz armies in general lately. And I think I'm going to make a video sort of talking about the state of where all these units are, or where these 3 armies are, and how, and what it's looking like for us moving forward in the meta now that things have settled down. So be sure to check out that video. But until then, like, subscribe. Wow.